Good evening. Welcome back. Another Tuesday edition of our WTP SPORTS show. We're doing top 10 returning safeties tonight, the last of our ranking shows of the year, as far as position players go, I should say. Joined, as always, by the COO, in my mind, as I call him, post-game. So, how you doing over there? I'm sure you're going to have some pretty good thoughts on this list.
Oh, yes, sir, man. How you doing tonight, SEC? I feel great. I love the safety position in football. I love guys who like to come up and hit people, and we got plenty of those guys on this list.
For sure. I mean, you hear it said a lot of times, safety, an experienced safety is the quarterback of that defense. That's where a lot of trust is. Some use linebackers, but I know a lot of coaches really rely on the safety to do a lot of the communication as well, especially with the defensive backs. But yeah, so it was a pretty good list. We had a couple of people that were kind of shifted around. Anybody in the comments, hey, drop where you're from, where you're watching from, please. Let us know who you're interested in at safety. When we're done with the list, let us know who we missed. Let us know who you think's too high. Let us know whatever you want about what we've ranked here. So other than that, let's just jump into it. We're going to start with the honorable mention guys, and we had two sets of honorable mentions. And the first pair is going to be, let me get the graphic loaded real quick. It didn't load right then. It's going to be a Parlay Po player and my player. You've got Rod Moore from Michigan and Dalton Brooks from Texas A&M. Let me do this real quick. Let me hide the current comment so we can see the screen. There we go. So you got, I mean, Rod Moore is more of a Midwest, of course. You know, Michigan's always had good DBs and safeties up there. What are you thinking on Rod Moore?
Man, I like Rod Moore a lot. I wish Parlay Po was here to give his take on Moore, but we'll substitute. I think, Rod is a veteran guy for that team. He's a leader on that team. He's a guy who's going to come up and make tackles. A guy who's going to be put in a good position to get a lot of takeaways, SEC. And then I think the addition of the pass rusher from Utah, man, his name eludes me right now, but I'm really high on that guy. He's going with his pass rushing capabilities. I think he's going to give Rod Moore a lot of opportunities to get a lot of takeaways this coming year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm sorry, John Henry Daly. There we go.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to think of his name too.
Man, it's one thing, man. When you do this, you gotta remember so many names. But John Henry Daly, I think he's an elite pass rusher for that Michigan defense. And with him rushing the passer, I think Rod Moore is going to have a lot of opportunities for turnovers.
And I'll bring our graphic back up in a second. But if I don't come in and welcome the CEO of WTP Sports, I might get fired. So I want to go ahead and stop real quick and bring in Mr. Robert to the show. Glad to see you join us. Like I told post game, this is a good position. This is our final show. And man, this is going to be some fun debating and talking, I think. So what are your thoughts? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here. I could never fire you, SEC Sean. You're too much of an asset, my brother. You're too much of an asset. I could never fire you. But, man, I'm excited to be here. I had to wash dishes, bro. Even though I got a dishwasher, I had to wash dishes.
I get it. We've all been there. I promise you. Yeah, I mean, then again, if you do, I think I'm kind of safe because if you do fire me, you don't have anybody to argue with at the end of November about a football game. So let me bring this back up. We were talking about Rod Moore from Michigan. We were really hoping Poe would be on, but I understand things go. What are your thoughts on Rob Moore?
I like Rob Moore, man. I expect for him to have a really outstanding season this season. He's been there at Michigan for quite a bit. With the defense that Michigan likes to play, under Kyle Whittingham especially, I expect for him to do big things this year. They're gonna have a really good pass rush. They're gonna have some solid guys at the linebacker position. He's gonna have an opportunity to make some plays. Hopefully his hands ain't butter and he can make some of them plays.
Yeah, when I look at Rod Moore, Post and Rob, you both kind of covered everything about him. But the one thing I look at, if you look at this graphic over here, is that very bottom line. It says national champion. That tells you a lot about this kid and his ability. So I expect big things out of him. The next, we talked about this in our chat. The next part I had with the safety honorable mentions was I was torn between this one and another one we'll get to in a minute out of A&M because I really like them both. Dalton Brooks. I'll let you start with Brooks, what you've seen from him, because, I mean, both of y'all's teams have played and seen him play. So give me your thoughts, Rob, on Dalton Brooks.
I like Dalton Brooks, man. I wish we didn't have to face him again this year, but we do. And I think that he's going to be able to allow for that Texas A&M defense to be a little bit more dynamic than they were last year. A guy like Dalton Brooks and the other safety, they had to fill in where the linebackers might have been a little bit too small. So I think this year they fixed that issue, and those guys at that safety position, a guy like Dalton Brooks is going to really be able to play the way he naturally wants to play. I really like him. I wish we didn't have to face him again this year, but it is what it is.
Post game.
Yeah, man, I like Dalton Brooks. That's a heck of a combo Texas A&M has down there with Brooks and the other guy. But, I mean, look at his stats. 62 tackles, 6.5 for loss, 4 sacks, 1 INT. That's a guy – that tells me that's a guy that moves around the defense. He isn't just stationary. And if Mike Elko is going to get that defense where it needs to be this year, I think he's progressed year in, year out. Dalton Brooks is going to be a huge factor and a big piece of that.
Yeah, I'll agree with all of that for sure. And the next thing I'll say is the reason I did not vote him in over his cohort back there on the back end. Dalton Brooks has got to take better angles. He takes a lot of bad angles when he's chasing people down, coming downhill, not chasing an angle, chasing him from behind, but coming at him. He takes a lot of bad angles. Now, was some of that the linebacker not doing that job, and he's doing his job, but based on where we don't, whatever. And he's got to get his hands better. He dropped at least 3 interceptions last year. But the kid is electric. He was a running back, defensive back in high school. They ran a fake putt to him. He went 79 yards, almost scored, got caught from behind, which you never want that. But that's why I didn't vote him in. I left him outside. I think that's about right for him. I do think he's one of the top 15 to 20 safeties in college, but I'm not top 10. We'll move on to scroll. The next duo we have, and here we go with the names again. Y'all know me and my names. Faletal Satuala, sure, and Jelani McDonald. We got to get him in there. There's one of us in here wearing a shirt for him. So, Rob, I'm gonna let you take Faleta Satuala from BYU first. Post, you can go second with him, and then go first with McDonald. Back to Rob.
Man, I'm telling y'all, man, and I know I keep saying this, man. But college football is a riches of talented football players. This young man at BYU is going to be a baller, man. He's been in that system with that coach. I really feel like he's going to be one of the key components to that defense. Of course, we know about the linebacker that they got that transferred over there. And then you also got another transfer from Texas at the linebacker position. They're going to be really talented on their back end with their linebackers and their safeties and their corners. I really like BYU. I think he has an opportunity to really improve his draft stock. He's right outside of our top 10, which says a whole lot because he easily could be in our top 10. I think he's a phenomenal player, man, and I can't wait to see him ball out. Hopefully they make it to the Big 12 championship game because I really do want to see them match up against Texas Tech.
Yeah, like Rob said, one of the better safeties in America. This guy is cash money for that BYU defense. I mean, look at his numbers, 84 tackles, 3 picks. I think he was in the tops of the Big 12 and taking the ball away. But this is a guy that the Athletic has ranked as the 7th overall safety in the upcoming NFL draft. So he'll have a chance to improve that stock. I'm really looking forward to him, watching him as the Fighting Irish travel to Provo later on in the year. This is one of the players I'm going to have my eye on. He's the heart and soul of that defense. And if BYU is going to win the Big 12 this year, he's going to be a big reason.
Yeah, he's going to be. It was with the Big 12 and the way they like to sling the ball. He's going to have playmaking ability available for him. We know. I totally forgot that they were playing Notre Dame, so you're going to see him up close and personal, of course. But I think he is going to be, the captain of that defense. I think he's going to be back there and he's going to control that whole back end. And like I said, I expect those interception numbers to go up. I'm 6, somewhere in that range, with the amount of passing I expect to come out of the Big 12, especially out of Oklahoma State. And we'll let postgame lead off with Jelani McDonald out of Texas.
Yeah, one of Mr. Brown's boys. I mean, Steve Sarkisian came out and said he's really underrated, really freakishly athletic, a guy who can play all around the field. You can tell by his statistics, being able to get fumble recoveries, pass defenses, interceptions, tackles for loss, and tackles. He's going to be a major part of that Texas defense. And with Colin Simmons rushing the passer and that crazy pass rush down there in Texas, he's going to be in a position to make a lot of plays. I like Jelani McDonald. As far as the safety from BYU, who I'm not going to try to say his name, but these are two guys who easily could have been in the top 10.
Man, for me, Jelani McDonald, if Texas finds a good covered safety and allow Jelani McDonald to play to his skill set, y'all about to see one of the best safeties in the country really improve his draft stock. Because if they can find them a covered safety, this guy is going to be able to do everything that Will Muschamp wants him to be able to do. You might even get to see him play some big nickel every now and then. But I really love Jelani McDonald, his athleticism, his physicality, his nose for the football. He's made some tremendous acrobatic interceptions. I mean, this guy can really jump. He has good enough speed. I really like Jelani McDonald. I would definitely have him in my top 10. He just happened to be right on the outside of it. But I'm telling you now, man, if they get a good covered safety, you're going to really get to see all of his talents on display this football season.
Yeah, for sure. When I look at both of these, what jumps out to me is they're sure tacklers. Look at the tackle numbers. They don't miss tackles. If they get you in their sights, you're going down. That's a big thing. The only thing I'm concerned about with McDonald, Rob, is it's a new defensive system. And I think we've discussed before that DB room at Texas is probably the weak spot of that defense. So he's the one guy that has to kind of bring it all. I'm not saying he can't, but I think that's the weakest spot on that Texas defense, which, by the way, is not that weak anyway. Okay. So, but that's the one knock I would have on Jelani McDonald is the new system and the youth and lack of experience around him.
Man, it's definitely a question mark for Texas.
I don't want to face him again either. So, let's move on and get into the top 10. Let me remove this. Go over here. Coming in at number 10, Rob, you got the lead on this one. Post game, you'll finish up. I'll go second. Adon Schuler or Aiden Schuler, which is it, Post? Adon?
Yep, Adon.
Figured. Always love when we have names that I'm not 100% sure on and somebody from that team is on. So, Rob, you can take Schuler first, and I'll go get his stats and everything brought up while you're starting off on him.
Part of the reasons why we are so high on Notre Dame is their defense is going to be phenomenal, but their secondary is unbelievable, man. You get Adon Schuler, Notre Dame, 6 foot, 202 pounds, already has played 3 years at Notre Dame, 118 tackles, 70 solos, 5 passes defended, 1 sack, 3 forced fumbles, 5 interceptions, 1 of them ran back for a TD. This guy, along with the other guys they have in the secondary, where are you going to go with the football? This guy is unbelievable. I really feel like teams are going to have a tough decision when they go into this draft if they're looking for a safety because there's so many guys out there. He cracks our top 10 at number 10, but he can easily be anywhere from 4 through 10 on our list. He just happens to fall at 10. I really like him. I think the fact that he's going to be around some really talented football players, he's going to have an opportunity to make a lot of plays. And I'm looking forward to him this season. I think he's a phenomenal player, really heady, understands the game. I'm ready to see him ball out.
Yeah, much like Moore from Michigan, I look at the bottom line. And on a team that stacked with defensive players, you're still voted team captain. And, I mean, not saying Leonard Moore's not one because he probably is too, but to be voted a team captain at Notre Dame is a badge of honor. That's impressive. You mentioned it, forcing turnovers. I mean, pretty much you can look, there's 4 forced turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. Whether they recovered both of those fumbles, I don't know. But he forced them. He's physical. He's a physical player. He's another one. The tackle numbers aren't so high, but he's not missing when he tackles. I just think that this Notre Dame defense is going to be something special, and he is a huge key part of it. When you got Leonard Moore shutting down half of the field and you got him back there at safety that can shut down the other half of the field, you better run the ball. And I don't even know that that's going to work if you go watch our pass streams. So when you're playing Notre Dame, good luck.
Yeah, man, you guys said it all. In my mind, and I think a lot of people agree with this is the best safety tandem in America. I know a couple other teams got some arguments and say so in that, but for my money, it's Adon Schuler and Bronte Johnson, who we'll get to later. I mean, this is a captain. This is a guy who stepped in and was a tandem with Xavier Watts when Notre Dame made that national championship run. This is a guy, a physical safety, first of all, an intelligent safety, a guy who can diagnose really well. He can come up with run support, makes opportunistic turnovers, and really puts Notre Dame in good situations. I mean, if he has one weakness, it's probably deep pass coverage. which I expect him to get better at. But with Tate Johnson in the mix, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to hide that weakness if he hasn't improved upon it. But Adon Schuler is just, man, he's a savage, man. I really love his game, and I'm happy that he's one of Notre Dame's captains.
I know not just that he's a captain, but I know you're over there smiling in the background that he's putting on green and gold too. So, because there's a lot I'd love to have him in maroon, I promise you. The next one we're getting to, this is a little odd for me. We're going, I think for the first time in all of the defensive rankings, we're going to Ohio State. I think this is the first player coming out of Ohio State that we've ranked in our top 10. And it's Jalen McClain from Ohio State. And we'll go post then to Rob on McClain, and I'll get him brought up.
Yeah, Jalen McClain is one of the better safeties in America. And with Downs going to the NFL, he's going to be asked to step up and be the leader of that secondary. 53 tackles, 3 pass breakups, third team all Big Ten. This dude is a baller. And I think I really like them bringing Earl Little over from Florida State. And I know he'll probably play the nickel, but I think that's going to help Jalen McClain a lot. I really wish Zay or Team Juan was on to break him down, because I know they got some really good insight on him. But from what I saw, he's a really good safety, and I expect him to up that as far as the third team and possibly be first or second when it comes to the Big Ten.
Yeah, here's a guy who had an opportunity to play in Matt Patricia's defense last year at the safety position, along with Downs. He had an opportunity to learn from what I believe was the best safety in college football last year. He's going to get an opportunity to be that man in that secondary. You know, it's going to be grouped with a lot of young guys. I really like Devin Sanchez at the corner. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player. But this is the guy who's going to make everything go in that secondary. He has an opportunity to really bolster his draft stock and possibly come out at the end of this season after playing 2 years at Ohio State. A 6-foot guy, 201 pounds, 2 years at Ohio State, 68 tackles, 5 solos, 4 passes defended. I expect this guy to put his hands on more balls this season and get some interceptions to go along with those passes defended. I'm looking forward to him having a phenomenal season and being the leader of that defensive secondary at the Ohio State University.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, he learned from what we all probably do consider the best safety last year. So he learns. He knows what it takes. He's been there a couple of years. I do want to see him get a little better at going after the ball. I'd like to see the interception. I don't need big interceptions, but a couple would be nice to see. But what's really nice to see, coming from a safety position, who are a lot of times put one-on-one with a speedy receiver or even a backfield coming downhill at you, 4 missed tackles. That's really good. You're stopping the I don't want to say the big play because they could have been 10 yards down the field, but you're stopping the 50 to 60-yard play by making those tackles. So, like Jalen McClain, think he's going to shine back there for Ohio State. Again, just think it's odd that that's the only Ohio State player we've had. But, you know, that they lost a lot off that defense. Let's be real. So, could be a little bit expected. You got something post-game?
No.
All right. We will move on down the list and jump to number 8, which is a name that I forgot about until one of us on this stream mentioned him. I cannot lie. I straight up forgot about this kid, and post-game shout out, you mentioned him, and I went, yeah, you're right. So it's Peyton Bowen out of Oklahoma, another player who is going to have a great defense in front of him. We're definitely going to let let me see, Rob, who went first last time? Post game? So I'll let Rob go first to talk about his favorite team, the Oklahoma Sooners.
Not. Listen, man, Peyton Bowen, I was not going to mention him whatsoever. He's an Oklahoma guy. I'm a Longhorn. I'm never going to mention that guy. But I'm telling you, I'm going to give him his props because he is really good. You talking about a guy 6 foot, 200 pounds, played 3 years at Oklahoma. I thought he was going to come out and go to the NFL draft this year, but he decided to stay, which I think is a good thing for him. 115 tackles, 60 solos, 13 passes defended, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions. What I would like to see him do is improve on his interceptions and getting his hand on those balls. But he's been playing really good, solid defense. I really like him. I think that he's going to be one of those players that's going to allow Oklahoma's defense to be one of the top 5 in the country. They were really good last year. I expect them to be really good this year. He'll be the quarterback of that defense. He'll be making sure all of those guys are lined up where they need to be. And anytime you play in a Brent Venables defensive system and you get to do it for 4 years, you know he's going to be phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to seeing him do that. I just don't want to see him do it against my Longhorns in the Red River rivalry.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Rob. I really like Peyton Bowen. We're talking about a 5-star kid out of high school. And, at first, I was really disappointed in Peyton Bowen coming out of high school because first he commits to Notre Dame. Then on signing day, he commits to another team, commits to other teams. So I'm like, man, what is up with this guy? But we're here to talk about football. His football playing ability is just amazing to watch. This is a guy who's a safety who can play deep coverage, or you can bring him down and he can play the nickel, or you can blitz him off the edge. That kind of versatility in a safety is the reason why I'm sure he's going to be a high NFL draft pick. Love Peyton Bowen.
I remember all that. That was funny. Him and his brother both played on the same team in high school too. Eli Bowen. I mean, what do you want him to do? You want him to cover the deep third? You want him to come to the line of scrimmage blitz? You want him to sit back as a linebacker? What do you want? And he's going to do it, and he's going to do it well. He's got the size, the strength, and the speed to do it all. I fully expect he's going to climb this ranking probably a little bit. I do think he's going to benefit from what's in front of him on that Oklahoma defense for sure. But, I mean, his tackle stats are a little bit low compared to some of the other safeties we've seen. But let's remember that Oklahoma D-line was pretty good in making a lot of tackles last year. So I fully expect you're going to see him coming off the edge a little bit more to hurry up quarterbacks than you did last year. I think you're going to see a little bit more of him down near the box. But we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I'm again, Post. I can't, good call there. Let's move on from Peyton Bowen, not Boeing. He's not an airplane. Moves like one sometimes. Stay in the SEC and go to Alabama. Keon Sabb comes in number 7 on our line. And we'll get post-game rolling first with Keon Sabb out of Alabama.
Yeah, man. When you talk about the best safety duos in America, Alabama is right there with just about anybody. I know we talked about Notre Dame earlier, but Keon Sabb, this is a veteran guy. This is a physical safety. And if Alabama is going to do anything this year, Sabb is going to be a big part of that. A lot of people are writing Alabama off this year, and I think they got good reason to. But they definitely got some good players, and Keon Sabb is definitely one of them. I mean, you can put him in that box and help the run game. The other safety is probably better in the pass coverage than he is, but nonetheless, a playmaker and a guy I look forward to watching.
Yeah, Mr. Sad, man, I'm telling you, and I agree with you too, post game. A lot of us have written off Alabama, but the more I started doing a little bit of research on these defensive guys that got, they are going to be solid defensively, which is going to keep them in games and give their quarterback, whoever it is, that's going to be the first year starter, an opportunity to get that thing right, man. But I love Sam. I really feel like he's going to have an opportunity to be the guy who leads that defense when it comes to tackling. Of course, he's not the better coverage safety, but he's a guy that you can move around and have him get in that box and make some critical tackles for you. I mean, this is a guy that's 6'1", 208 pounds in his fourth year of college football, spent 1 year at Michigan, 119 tackles, 66 solos, 11 passes defended, 1.5 sacks, 5 interceptions in his career, and a touchdown. A guy who has an opportunity to really wow the scouts when it comes to that NFL draft and have an opportunity to go high in the first 1, 2, or 3 rounds. I feel like he's going to be one of the star players for Alabama this year, and they're going to be one of the reasons why their defense is going to be so good is because of Mr. Sad.
Yeah, I mean, your people are writing Bama off, and I think a lot of the write-off you're getting about Alabama is from the offensive side. I still have some questions on their D-line. Still some there, but look, this Alabama secondary is right up there with the best in the game. We'll get to more on that here in a few minutes. But I think his partner in crime is more of the quote-unquote free safety, and he's like a strong where the he can come down and he's going to be more asked to come down and let the other one, Hubbard, kind of cover more. I think that's how they're going to be used. It's kind of what I saw him doing last year with Hubbard anyway. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, the Alabama defensive back room is going to be really, really good. And that's the definite strong side of that defense. We'll see how the rest of it plays for Alabama. Going on to number 6, the second part of the safety room at Texas A&M is Marcus Radcliffe. And before we get going with him, I'm going to give y'all a little thing I found out the other day. I don't know if you watch any SEC media days, Rob, but for every turnover he gets, he's donating $315 to the Wounded Warrior Project. So if you're playing A&M, throw the guy at least one pick a game. That's all I ask for. You can throw more, but at least one, please. So I thought it was a really cool thing he was doing. So I wanted to be sure I brought that up on the show because I think that's a really, really good reason and some motivation for him.
Yeah, that
so
is
Marcus,
really cool.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And we'll let you go first, Rob, because I know your second favorite team right here. You can't help but wanting to talk about A&M, so I'll let you jump and then post you can hit.
Yeah, I want to get that taste out of my mouth quick as possible, talking about an A&M guy for sure. No, but Marcus Radcliffe, I like him as well. You're talking about a 6'2", 209-pound guy, a guy with a lot of freaking experience. He's in his 4th year, and he's 2 years with Mike Elko. So you know this guy's going to be phenomenal. He had 3 years, 1 year at San Diego State. Listen, this guy has 164 freaking tackles, 91 solos, 4 passes defended, a forced fumble, 4 interceptions. I think that this guy has an opportunity to really make first team all SEC. And we've already talked about an Alabama guy. We already talked about a Texas guy, another Texas A&M guy, and we're probably going to talk about some other SEC safeties. But I think this guy is really that good. He made our top 5. I really feel like he's going to be able to do some things in this defense for Mike Elko that he really needs to get done. And when you got a safety that can take away people's mistakes like Ratcliffe can, that's a winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let's go.
For sure. One of the things I like about Ratcliffe, I mean, so much is made about your star ranking coming out of high school. This guy is a 3-star rated football player out of high school, and Walter Camp has him as a preseason All-American. So that just goes to show sometimes, a lot of times, stars don't matter. It's what you do when you get your opportunity. And this guy has put the work in, like Rob mentioned, over 6 foot, 209 pounds. That's a really good size for a safety, a box guy. Going to be real important for that Texas A&M defense and Mike Elko.
Yeah, I should have looked it up because I had the A&M weight charts after heading into fall camp. I think he's at 215 now, or 219, somewhere like that. He's put on some more weight. Great kid, obviously. What he does, phenomenal player. A&M has not been known as safety university. They've had a couple coming through there, and I'm not saying we are by any stretch of the imagination. Please don't crush me in the chats. But when Mike Elko says this is the most talented and deepest and best defensive back room I've ever been around, that tells me all I need to know about these guys. 2 veterans at the back at the safety position, Dalton Brooks we spoke about, Marcus Ratcliffe here. So I'm really excited for what this safety combination can do. Do want to see him not just for what, but I want to see that the turnover numbers have to get higher for the entire A&M defense. They were pathetic last year in forcing turnovers. It was bad. We got to get better at that, and we'll see what happens. But really excited to see what Marcus can do this year. Post game, it doesn't matter your stars. You're 100% right. But how much work are you willing to put in to get to where you want to be? And this kid's done what he's needed to do, and we will see him on Sundays. Let's move along.
Which one of those safeties do you value more?
Believe it or not, I think I value Dalton Brooks more because I think you can do more with Dalton Brooks. Dalton Brooks was a couple of years ago, A&M had a few injuries at the running back position and were really, really thin. And Dalton Brooks got a few runs back there. I think you can move Dalton Brooks to the offensive side if you're in a serious bind. But if we're just talking on the side of the defensive ball, I think Ratcliffe is probably the one that I'm leaning on the most because I think he's more of the freakish athlete. Dalton Brooks is just a solid, strong, quick guy, but Ratcliffe, I think, has the other factors, to put it nicely. Let's go to number 5. And we're going to go down to South Beach. And let's go check in on Miami with Bryce Fitzgerald. Let me see who's next. So it's going to go Rob here first because I need Post to go last here in a few minutes. So we'll go Rob Post on this one again.
Man, Bryce Fitzpatrick, true freshman last year. He's playing this year, year 2, 6'1", 185 pounds, 16 tackles, 10 solos, 2 passes defended, a sack, 6 interceptions. Guess what, y'all? 2 of them came against that guy up there's team, the Texas A&M Aggies, And he sealed that that playoff win over Texas A&M. I really like this guy and his upside. Only a true freshman last year. Just imagine how ultra confident he's going to be this year, out there making plays. He's going to have to play even bigger than he did last year because they don't have the bookends that they had last year in Ruben Bain and Mesidor. Even though they got some replacement guys, you ain't replacing those two studs. But I think this guy has an opportunity to really elevate his game, and I expect him to do so. A guy who played as a true freshman and ended the season with 6 INTs. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Rob said it all. Bryce Fitzgerald coming out as a freshman. What's going on in Miami where they can get these true freshmen in and really have them make a difference in football games? I like Bryce Fitzgerald. PFF loves Bryce Fitzgerald. I think he's over 80. I think he has like an 80.7 PFF grade, which ranked like 5th in the whole entire ACC. But I expect all those numbers you see to increase as he was a rotational piece his freshman year. Made a lot of plays, but was a rotational piece. He'll be the man in he'll be the man in that secondary this coming up college football season. I expect those numbers to increase.
Rob, you almost got put in timeout, brother. I almost had to put you in timeout for bringing that up. I don't sit here and bring up the Florida game when y'all lost to Florida. Okay? I didn't bring up the Ohio State game. Just messing. That was an insane game. That the wind there was so bad. Freshman All-American, 6 picks as a freshman. Come on. He was rotational, and he should have been rotated out on a couple of plays against A&M in the playoff game. But unfortunately, he was rotated in. So it is what it is. I'm not gonna, keep harping on it. It happened. But for being a freshman in that defense, which he had some, people stacking the front up to where he didn't have to worry so much, but to be a freshman in any level college football and making a run with the team to the national championship game, this kid is just going to be must-watch TV on the back end of this Miami defense. I mean, I don't know that he gets 6 interceptions because I think people are going to probably stay away from him as much as possible. But good Lord, he's good. And he was a true freshman, right? He wasn't a redshirt. He was true. Yeah, that's what I thought. Him and Malachi Toney, both true freshmen last year. That's just, you mentioned it post game. Where are they getting these true freshmen and doing that with them? But it is what it is. Bryce Fitzgerald, man, good gracious, he's good. Let's go ahead and move along to number 4. And post game will lead this one off. We're going to stay in your state. Amari Farrell from Indiana.
Yeah, this guy easily could have been top 2 in my mind. I think Amari Farrell is a playmaker. He's definitely a ball hawk safety, gets a lot of pass breakups, gets INTs. And for a guy of his size, standing at 6'2", over 200 pounds, really moves well. Kirk Cignetti allows him to be all over the field. He's going to be a monster for the Hoosiers. I really like his game and athletic safety. I expect him to be one of the top safeties in America this upcoming season, and I definitely believe he'll be at a really good draft pick for someone in the future.
Yeah, Farrell, Indiana, 3-year player, 6'2", 205. Listen, 3 years at Indiana. You would think after his freshman year, once Cignetti got there his sophomore year, maybe he might have thought about going somewhere. But he didn't. He stayed and has been in Indiana system with Cignetti for 2 years now. This year will be his 3rd year. 106 tackles, 57 solos, 7 passes defended, 1.5 sacks, 8 interceptions. This guy is going to ball out. And I know we all talk a lot about Cignetti and his teams, their discipline, how they pay attention to detail. This guy is going to be a big piece for the Indiana secondary this year. I'm looking forward to him doing what he does. I expect for him to have a fantastic season and probably be first team All Big Ten this season when it concludes.
Yeah. Again, let's scroll to the bottom of his stat chart. Rob, you didn't mention one thing that I was really shocked about. Every time we've talked about this certain program, there's always been a Curt Cignetti reference, and we didn't get one there that I heard. So I was kind of shocked. Are you slipping up? You having a little bad taste on Cignetti now? What's going on here? Experience. I mean, he is in Cignetti's defense, and he's going, again, we've said it. Rob has said it. We've all said it. He's going to be in the right place to make the plays he needs to make to do what he needs to do for that defense. And that's just all there's going to be to it with Farrell. I don't know, and I'd have to look a little more, but when I looked at some tape on him, this guy reads the quarterback well. He might read the quarterback better than anybody I've seen. He is amazing at looking at the quarterback and reading what he's thinking. So great guy on the back end of that Indiana defense. We'll see how it plays out with him. But yeah, good gracious. Let's see what's going on next. Go to number 3. And post-game will obviously go last on this one, which is Bronte Johnson from Notre Dame. We mentioned one already. Let's go ahead and get the other one rolling too. So, Rob, you're up.
All right, we're talking about post games, boy, Mr. Johnson. I don't want to mess his first name up. 6'2", 200 pounds, 2 years at Notre Dame, 51 tackles, 38 solos, 3 passes defended, 4 interceptions, a touchdown. We've talked so much about this Notre Dame secondary. This is another guy who was worthy. Now, listen, Leonard Moore was the number 1 corner. This young man comes in as the number 3 safety on our list. How can you have the number 1 corner and the number 3 safety in the WTP Sports broadcasting rankings, man? This defensive secondary is going to be lights out, and one of the reasons is because of Mr. Johnson and what he does out there on the football field. He had 4 interceptions last year. He had a pick 6. Listen, you talking about somebody reading the quarterback's eyes. This guy is going to have an opportunity to eat and eat a lot because somebody named Leonard Moore is going to keep one side of the field secluded where nobody can have any action. And this guy's going to be able to make plays everywhere that they need him to. I know they have a heck of a time thinking about what we going to let teams do to us because they ain't going to be able to do nothing. I'm looking forward to this guy balling out. Let's go, Mr. Johnson. Make us proud.
I'll jump post real quick on Bronte. Man, come on. He's got the number 10 safety sitting right back there beside him. He's got the number 1 cornerback on the field with him. He's got a bunch of defensive linemen and some linebackers. I mean, come on. This is going to be a nasty secondary to go against. Again, I mentioned it earlier. Good luck when you're playing Notre Dame throwing the ball. But good luck moving the ball. If you want to see what this defense can be, Not that, but go watch them play Arkansas last year. That's probably what they're going to do to everybody this year. Bronte Johnson is a menace. I mean, that secondary is going to be nasty. Post. I'll let you finish up with him. I sure have got a lot more to say about this young man.
Yeah, he's Bronte Johnson is easily one of my favorite players to watch, not just at Notre Dame, but across the country. One of the things I love about this young man is that in high school, I don't know what the case was, but he had to accomplish some things to go to Notre Dame. And he asked, what do I need to do? They told him what he needed to do, and he did it. And he got that scholarship, and now he's a baller. I'm going to tell y'all what, Notre Dame's defense really changed when he was inserted into the lineup. When Bronte was inserted into the lineup on defense last year, the defense changed, and it's his playmaking ability. He's one of those free safety guys who goes sideline to sideline. He can pick off the quarterback, and you just want to stay away from him because he's going to take the ball. That's one of his great traits. And you know, he's an athletic freak, a guy who can really move. And I think he's going to be – he has a chance to be a top 20 NFL draft pick. That's how high I am on Bronte Johnson. Really good guy, really athletic, extremely fast, and is a ball hawk. High IQ. Man, that safety room is going to be crazy.
So let me reverse the question you asked me. Two really good safeties back there. Which way you leaning? Towards one or the other?
Yeah, I love both of these guys, man. I'll say this. Adon is more of the leader, put everybody in position, the quarterback back there, really physical safety. I think Bronte is the more athletically gifted guy. So I'll put it out, man. I love them both, SEC. I really do. But if I gotta say, that's how I would break it down.
Yeah, that's you're in the same boat I am with both of mine. So we can't ask Rob because there's only one Texas player on the safety field. So, but we can't compare those. When was he inserted? That's what I want to know. Do you remember when he actually got inserted and made an impact?
I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was, I want to say the Purdue game. I'm not 100% sure. I just know once he was inserted, the defense looked totally different.
Yeah, I remember we mentioned it before about the A&M game, and I said, that's not a Notre Dame defense. There's something not right there. And then at the end of the year, that was a Notre Dame defense. So I was just curious when he got thrown in, but no worries on that. Well, Rob, we should be happy. The final two, number 2 is coming out of a team we've already mentioned. Let's bring in Mr. Bray Hubbard from Alabama, coming in at number 2 in our ranking.
Listen, SEC, Mr. Bray Hubbard. Listen, 6'2", 217 pounds. A guy who has played 3 years already, 132 tackles, 83 solos, 10 passes defended, 2 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 7 interceptions. This guy can play everywhere on the field where you need him to, in the box, back, coverage, whatever you need this guy to do, he can do. He comes number 2 on our list. Do you know how monumental that is to come in on WTP Sports at number 2? He's going to ball out, man, and I'm starting to think more and more about this Alabama team and why I had them ranked I think they're in my top 10, in my top 25, because their defense of secondary is going to be really, really good. Mr. Hubbard, go make us proud.
Yeah, that's one heck of a photo of Ray Hubbard, man. But I mean, Ray Hubbard is elite, man. I think he lacks deep ball speed, but anything else, this guy is exceptional with. The thing I like about Ray Hubbard was he was a quarterback coming into college, and they switched him to safety. So when you talk about quarterback of the defense, I mean, imagine the advantages this guy has uh, playing safety, being a quarterback for all those years. He knows the keys, he knows the reads, he knows what to look for, what a quarterback is looking for. So this guy is a elite safety, and I'm looking forward to watching him play. And I don't know who this James Jordan guy is, but well, I think everybody said Bray.
Yeah, I actually put him first in our rankings over the next guy. I got beat out, but I don't think you can go wrong. I'm not sure you can go wrong with 1, 2, or 3, to be honest with you. You went where I went. Quarterback, puts in the work, watches film during the week, understands route combos, knows where cuts are coming, knows when they're coming. He knows how to read a receiver because he was throwing it to the receiver. So he knows what to look for and what to key on to get in front to make plays on the ball, which you mentioned, Rob? 7 interceptions in his career, 4 last year. So very athletic, does struggle, you're right, against the deep ball. He can be beat deep. If you've got a speed guy, you can get behind him. But you better have a good throw, because if it's short or offline, he's probably going to get it. One thing I want to bring up to y'all real quick before we get to the next one, number 1 on our list. If y'all listen to the size of these players at the DB position, not just safety, but cornerback too, we've got 6'4", 6'2", 6'3" guys everywhere. That is not the norm for safety or so I don't know if y'all got any thoughts on that real quick.
Yeah, I remember coming up, safeties were 5'10", 5'11". A big one was 6 foot. Corners were 5'8", 5'9". It's just evolved, man. The athleticism, the frames on these guys is amazing. So that's definitely something that I've realized SEC shine, like, through the years watching these positions evolve. That's a really good catch. Like, these are some freakish athletes, man. Pretty soon they're gonna have a 7-footer at safety.
Yeah, I think when you start thinking about the wide receivers, man, and how they started to evolve the game and start getting size, and the guys at wide receiver became more athletic, you had to get more long, lengthy defensive backs, man. So I think as the wide receiver position evolved, the corner and the safety position had to evolve to much longer guys. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, if you play wide receiver on offense, you probably turned around and played two-way and played cornerback or safety on defense. And so I just think just with the evolution of wide receivers, so has the evolution of defensive backs happen at the same time, because you got to keep up with whatever's happening. And you do not want no small guy, even though a lot of good smaller players can really play. You just want to have an advantage by having guys who got that lift, especially when it comes to those 50-50 balls.
For sure. I just thought it was odd. I'm used to post games of them 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot maybe, but this is just getting crazy. And that leads us to our number 1. Get up here to him, and we're going to stay in the SEC. And KJ Bolden from Georgia. I don't remember who can go first. Either one of y'all can go first. Post game, Rob, doesn't really matter. I've lost the rotation again.
Well, I'll go first. Listen, man, KJ Bolden out of Georgia, 6 foot, 195 pounds, 2 years at Georgia, 135 tackles, y'all, in 2 years. 135 tackles, 72 solos, 6 passes defended, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 3 interceptions. He comes in as number 1 on our safety list. I really like this guy. I'm glad that my Texas Longhorns does not have to face this guy again. Hopefully we do, though, in the SEC championship game, because that's the only team I want to face in that championship game is Georgia, because Georgia is king. And I feel like KJ Bolden is going to be that piece that Georgia needs to command that secondary and to command that defense. I think he's going to take that step and be the leader on that defense. I really like KJ Bolden, and that's why he was number 1 on my list and number 1 as a consensus on everybody else's list.
Yeah, man, this is no doubt in my mind the number 1 safety in college football. His versatility, man, he can play deep coverage. He can come up to the box, be a box safety, or he can play the nickel. That's a heck of a utility knife to have in your back pocket. If I'm Georgia, this guy's just a playmaker, and I mean, I think Georgia, he's going to be a big reason why Georgia is going to bring another elite defense to the SEC this upcoming season. Love KJ Bolden. Would not be surprised if this guy's a top 10, top 15 NFL draft pick. Just an elite athlete and a guy coming out of high school that has some track background. So imagine what type of speed he brings to the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Swiss Army knife, you're right. I mean, that's what he is. He does it all. And it says a lot in the defense under Kirby Smart, because we know Kirby Smart demands excellence out of his defensive players. And Kirby was a safety. And Kirby raves about this guy. Everybody does. This dude is amazing. CBS Sports, I saw their quote on him. They said he is the standard of safeties in this year's college football class. Not much else to say about him. Just super athletic. And Rob, be careful wanting Georgia. I don't want him. Unless it is the SEC title game for sure. But Georgia's the king of the SEC for now, and until somebody knocks them off. So I just know that Georgia team's going to be really good on defense. They always are. There's some defenses out there this year, guys. We've got guys all over from Notre Dame, Oregon, Miami, Texas. We've got guys everywhere. This is going to be one of the best defensive classes I've ever seen come out of college football, from top to bottom. Anybody got anything else?
When you look at the coaches poll that was released, okay. Ohio State was 1. Oregon was 2, Georgia was 3, Texas 4, Notre Dame 5, right?
Right.
Those top 5 teams, what do they all have in common? They have a really athletic defense and a returning starting quarterback. I found that really interesting, fellas.
Yeah, when you think about it, at first I was thinking each of them is elite on one side of the ball or the other, not just the defensive side. But yeah, that's a good take.
You think those teams are elite on either side? You don't think they're elite on both?
No, I was saying that at least they were elite on one side.
Gotcha.
Some are elite on both. Yes, for sure, 100%. Looking at the coaches poll, real quick, I mean, if y'all have got it, who's overrated on that list and who's underrated in your mind?
I think Missouri is overrated, especially if their running back isn't up to full health. I think that possibly Penn State. A lot of people point towards Penn State schedule,
Yeah,
which nobody talks about. But every chance they get, they'll bring up Notre Dame's schedule. But anyway, a lot of people bring up Penn State schedule, right? And I just think like sometimes it takes a year or two to really put it all together. I know they got a lot of players transferred in, same coach, same players, but they got to rebuild that Penn State program. And sometimes it's just not the first year. Sometimes it takes time, man. So those were some interesting teams. I mean, I really think SMU is underrated because I love their quarterback. I think BYU is properly ranked, but man, it's exciting because I mean, right at the tail end, just not making the cut, they had Louisville and what I thought was interesting was Florida, just outside of the top 25.
yeah. Anything jump off to you, Rob?
Not necessarily when it came to the rankings, but what did jump out to me was the fact that you're going to have SMU, BYU, and Miami, who could possibly only have one loss, and each one of their losses will probably come to the Notre Dame Finals, bro. They could all possibly go undefeated outside of playing against Notre Dame. Could you imagine what that resume would look like if Miami is 11-1 at the end of the season, SMU is 11-1 at the end of the season, and BYU is 11-1 at the end of the season, and each of their only losses to Notre Dame? That would be unbelievable. No, it wouldn't, because I don't think Notre Dame beat all three of them.
That's really interesting, Rob. I didn't even think of it like that, but you know, another key matchup that I'm really anticipating when you talk about SMU is the Louisville matchup. I think that's going to be one of the best games of the year. So, I mean, SMU, Miami, and BYU, if they were to only lose to Notre Dame, that'd be amazing. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was thinking Miami and SMU losing to Notre Dame, and then if SMU beats Louisville, they're all going to be like 11-1 because I don't think Miami and Louisville play this year. So they'd be all 11-1 in the ACC, and we'd have this whole mess of ACC again. I'm going to be a little point blank. I think the most underrated team on that list is Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame at 5 is way low. I think Notre Dame's at least top 3 minimum.
Well, you know there's a Notre Dame bias amongst the coaches.
I do.
But you know what, SEC Sean, I'm fine with that. As far as Notre Dame, like as long as they're top 5-ish, I'm cool.
Most Notre Dame people are because they understand there is that bias from the coaches. Oh, you're not in a conference, your schedule. We're not going to get into all that. That's for another day. But I still think Notre Dame's the top 3 team in my mind. I agree with Missouri's overrated. I think Houston is underrated. Y'all know how I feel about this Houston squad. I think Houston is underrated in this poll. But again, a lot of this poll is what have you done? And that's kind of where you look at it and see how it falls out. But I will give a shout out to everybody in the chat too. If you saw the coaches poll, you need to tune in this coming weekend because the real poll is going to drop. WTP Sports will be dropping their top 25 rankings. What day are we doing it, Rob? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Okay.
10 a.m.
Okay.
Hosted by Post Game.
That's right. I just forgot what day we were doing. So Definitely tune in for that, because that's going to be the real rankings. These are coming not from computers and people sitting around betting on bait and bias and all this. This is coming from people that watch the games and actually know these teams and have a good ranking system for them. So definitely tune in for sure for that if you want to know where we rank everybody. Anybody got anything else?
I just want to ask y'all real quick before we get out of here. Do y'all believe in Michigan this year?
No.
No.
No, I think Michigan's going to.
Do I think they're going to win the Big Ten? No. Do I think they're going to be a top 4 or 5 team in the Big Ten? Yes. I really do think that Michigan is going to be a better football team this year than what they were last year. They're not going to have those same distractions and issues. I think the quarterback, Underwood, is going to be a better quarterback this year and year 2. I think they're going to understand they got to get the ball in their playmakers' hands and not miss the opportunity to get the ball who Marsh, when he needs to be getting touches. He had games where he didn't get no touches. It's like, come on, man. And I think defensively they're going to be better because they just got some better talent on defense and more experience. I think they're going to be a better team. The record may not reflect it, though.
See, I think I real quick, but I think this Michigan defense is going to be really good. And I think if they're able to get Bryce Underwood where he's supposed to be, I think Michigan can beat anybody in the Big Ten. That's a lot of ifs, though. Like my mom used to say, if was a fifth, we all be drunk. But I definitely think that's the team to look out for in the Big Ten. I personally like Michigan better than USC.
That's a toss-up there. And I've seen some of our rankings already. I don't want to spoil anything for the people that are going to tune in, but you'll see why that's a toss-up when we get together. But I'm just not sold. I think Michigan's ceiling is 9-3. And I think their floor is probably 6-6. Now, I expect Underwood to take a step forward, and I do expect the defense to be good. But, dude, I'd have to look through their schedule. There is some dogs in the Big Ten this year. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm just not a big fan of Michigan getting there. By no means are they a playoff team in my mind. By no means. I don't see it unless the stars align and everything is perfect, and I just don't see it. So I'm going to leave y'all with 2 little quick things. I want the commenter people to go check it out. I want everybody to go Google the kid with the cotton mouth in his helmet in Arkansas high school. It's crazy, and it was real. And then I don't like doing this so much, but there was an issue in Texas yesterday on the practice field. I believe he's a University of Texas, maybe commit from Lake Travis High School, had a serious medical emergency during practice and is in ICU right now. So, keep that, for what you will. I just got that the reason I mentioned it because it just broke by Matt Stepp down in Texas, sent it out. I saw it yesterday, but I wasn't saying anything till I knew it was able to be posted. So, it's hot out there. Down there, these guys are out practicing to give us the entertainment we want. So hopefully everything's good with that kid, and we'll go from there. But other than that, I appreciate all the stuff in the comments. Appreciate the analysis from you two fine young gentlemen. And we'll be back again. I believe tomorrow and Thursday we're doing NFL breakdowns. And then Saturday, of course, we mentioned the real Top 25 show. Sunday, I believe, is the Over and Under Big 10 show. Rob, is that right? Is that Sunday?
Yep.
So a lot of content coming, and then we're going to start working on some stuff after that. Like I said, this was our last ranking show for the defense. So now I'll come up with something else we can do. Don't know what it is yet, but we'll figure something out. So other than that, if you gentlemen don't have anything else to add, we will get on out of here and call it a Tuesday night. We'll just tell all the fine folks, peace.